So the 1970s were a really interesting time for the horror genre because you started seeing a lot of, crossover with other genres. Like you had some slight horror comedies coming out. You had horror action movies starting to develop, and of course you had the overlapping of horror and sci-fi. And a lot of great movies came out of that. Stuff like The Demon Seed, Soylent Green, I would consider a horror film. A lot of movies that are kind of in that vein. Well, Embryo, which is a movie for Day 17 of 31 Days of Horror-Ween 2017, not really a good movie in the literal or figurative sense, but it's pretty interesting. It's a lot better than you'd think it would be. Not saying that it's a good movie, because it's not. It's just a slightly above average movie, which benefits from having a way better than average cast that is really just slumming through it, but actually they bring some sincerity to it. You feared they'd be on total off mode, but to be fair, there's some decent acting in this one. Alright, so here's what's going on. It's a movie about a doctor, and he's played by Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson, one of the more underrated leading men in the late 20th century acting in Hollywood, in my humble opinion. And basically, what he does is he's kind of like Gregory Peck in The Omen, where we can all agree The Omen is a great horror movie, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near as successful if you didn't have Gregory Peck and his huge-ass eyebrows running around going, "My son's the Antichrist." He brought such a sincerity, such like a sense of like legitimacy to that movie. Kind of the same way Donald Pleasance did that in Halloween. Like Halloween, of course, is a great movie, but without Donald Pleasance running around saying, "I shot him 6 times." You don't have that sense of honesty, that air of more refined acting. You have these guys that are actually like out there trying to do their job, as opposed to the guys who are just off the street just, deadpanning through it. And Rock Hudson, he really brings his, well, maybe not A game, more like his B minus game to this one. And, he's got such a great voice. He's walking around his lab, and basically what happens is he runs over a dog, but he saves her placenta so she has puppies. And he starts doing like experiments on them because that's what mad scientists do. And basically he starts being able to make designer puppies. And the puppies, and it's kind of weird because I have a puppy in my lap while I'm recording this video. Hey Brody, how you doing? And he basically makes these designer puppies, but there's a problem. They have accelerated aging. So like they're born on Monday, and by the time Friday rolls around, they're like 78 in dog years and ready to be put to pasture. Well, anyway, considering this is a horror film from the 1970s, I think you can kind of figure out what happens. Eventually, he's like, well, we got this dog placenta here, and I got some human genome. Well, why not mix them together? So he does that one day in the lab, and all of a sudden, Asian girl comes out. Why an Asian? I don't know. That's one of those things I can't figure out, but it happens. And basically, Rock Hudson raises her as basically his daughter slash guinea pig. And of course, much like the puppies, she's aging at like a year every other day. So by the time day 30 rolls around, she's like a 60-year-old woman. But the thing is, it's one of those movies where they're kind of like playing with you, where you don't know if like the kid or the Asian woman or whatever you want to call her is evil. She's like super intelligent, like she can beat everybody at chess, but you don't know if she has murderous intentions or not. So that's kind of the big thing that unfolds at the end. And overall, you can't say it's a great movie. The ending is pretty good. But it's just the fact that you have such a good cast in this. You got Diane Ladd, you got Rock Hudson, Roddy McDowall shows up for seemingly no reason whatsoever. I guess he needed a paycheck really bad that day. And this is a movie where I think it's like firmly like C minus in terms of like overall plot and directing and all the usual mechanics of filmmaking. But just having Rock Hudson in it, just walking around with his gravelly voice and just making it sound like so much more legitimate than it actually is, I think it raises its stock like by like a full star rating. He really, does, make it seem like it's better than it is. And, he has such a gravitas. And it's definitely a good performance. One of the best performances in a bad movie you'll ever see. And for that, you should probably check it out. And also, I love the fact that he has to play a heterosexual in this movie. There's like scenes where he's like having to pretend to fall in love with his Asian dog woman. And you're just like, no, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this at all. So it also has that as a sort of a laugh out loud factor to it. Alright, so this one is definitely guilty pleasure material. Not a great movie by any stretch, but certainly something that's different. and I will take different and just kind of okay over rudimentary and better most times. Tonight, at least. Alright, so using our patented tofu dog rating system, I'm going to give this one a slightly above average 2.5 tofu dog rating out of 4. And from there, we're moving along to our 1978 edition. So we're still in the 1970s for day 18. And for day 18, we'll be taking a look at a film which came out in 1978, which became sort of immortal as being a movie that was lampooned and made fun of in a different kind of media. And overall, it's a really, really bad movie, but at least it has a lot of explosions, so it has that working for it. Alright, well, no spoilers there. If I say anything more, it's going to give it away. Don't want to do that. But that's coming up on day 18. So, as always, eat a lot of Halloween candy, play some old Sega Genesis horror games. I recommend Splatterhouse and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And I will be seeing you tomorrow night, boils and ghouls.